Back to the Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu story. The activist is being remembered today. eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones joins us now with the very latest. Pule, of course, we walked with you alongside cameraman Shahid as you took us through those visuals and the authorities, saying more about what transpired on the day that Solomon Mahlangu met his untimely death through hanging. What's the very latest that you can share with us?
Thank you very much.
Well, what we understand right now, Dumelo, is that the SGO convener, of course, Gwen Ramokgopa, is currently addressing the family and some of the 40 members of the ANC. But we were taken through a tour inside and through the 52 steps that leads to the gallows, where the then political activist Solomon Mahlangu was hanged. But at the center of this, we do understand that tensions were a bit high, and of course the family is still demanding for accountability, hence why they will be opening an inquest today when we arrive in Mamelodi. They allege that even after Mr. Mahlangu was hanged, his pulse was still beating, and therefore he was unjustifiably murdered in the hands of the apartheid police, who shot him twice. And they believe that there's still some kind of distortion to the history behind his killing, and therefore hence why the move to open the inquest seeking for accountability. I would have wanted to speak to Ms. Ramokgopa, but she's currently briefing the family, and we do understand that we can only speak to the family once we get to the cemetery, where they will then speak to us regarding their move to have the inquest open. But quite a dreadful a journey, and as you go inside you actually get to realize that it's not a museum for entertainment, but for telling the history of what had happened. And we saw some of the political activists as well, their pictures on the walls as to how they were killed as well and hanged in the hands of the apartheid police.
As we're having this conversation right now, take us through what we're seeing there. I'm sure members of the family obviously being there as well, some of government officials, ANC members as well. But what is happening? What are we seeing right now?
All right, basically what we're seeing right now is that we're currently being addressed by Gwen Ramokgopa, who's speaking to the family members as well as some of the ANC party members as well, briefing them about the program of the day. But I'm just going to try and move and just get some sort of soundbite to hear exactly what she's being forward, and to give us a sense of what is being said. I hope that we still have time, but apologies for the shaky visuals, as we just want to hear what the briefing is about and currently being addressed to the family. I'm just going to pipe in my mic in there and you can have a listen.
And this is the purpose of these anniversaries. Thank you very much. I think let us meet the community in Mamelodi. I was privileged. I was 17-year-old when Solomon Mahlangu was being buried in Atteridgeville. And those who were there will tell you that we had guard of honor for him. We all came out of our houses and had a guard of honor for him. Heavily armed. We've never seen anything like that. And we knew that that is the hero of our struggle. But we are here now. We'll talk further. It is for us to advance, especially the development of young people. Many young people laid their lives for a better life. So I hope that we will work with young people to undermine these structural barriers for their economic empowerment in particular, for their happiness, and that we will indeed advance what Solomon Mahlangu as blood flowed for, as he comforted his mom, that his blood will nurture the tree of freedom. Hello,
how's Gwen?
Of course, that's
we are going back to the hall for a debrief, the leadership and the family. And then in terms of interview,
and that the family will be briefed back at where they will be taken to, which is the cemetery where Mr. Mahlangu was laid to rest. From there, we will then proceed to the police station where the inquest will be open. But please allow me just to get some comment from Ms. Ramokgopa, of course, to tell us more about what is happening. We speak to Sorry to hijack you. Could you please speak to us? We're live on eNCA now. Yes, sure. Now, obviously, you've given us detail about what is going on in the program of action, but there seems to be also a bit of a challenge from the family saying that information is missing as to how Mr. Mahlangu was actually murdered.
Yes, indeed, this matter arises every year, even when Mama Mahlangu, the mother of Solomon Mahlangu, was alive. The information given by one of the warders, black warders here, was that, or maybe was not a warder, may have been one of the workers, was that he survived the news and died after. How he died, it's still a mystery. And there is a belief that he was kind of like finished off. So I think it is for that reason that there is a decision, I think supported by NYDA and the family, to have an inquest on how did he die, because he indeed survived the news. However, whether he died immediately or after, the fact of the matter is that he died for the freedom that we enjoy today. He is one of the many young people, Botela Mokhwerane and others, whose lives perished here. And this is a significant moment for us, and to say to the young people that they need to identify their mission in life. The mission of Solomon Mahlangu and others was that our people should be free, and now freedom is here. The mission of the youth today is that of a better quality of life. And we are side by side with them. We don't have the apartheid regime, but you have a government that would work with them to ensure that indeed they have a better life in their lifetime.
Maybe just the last question. These are ANC cadres who've set a strong precedent for the organization, particularly post-apartheid. What we're seeing is that the organization remains challenged by a lot of issues, which includes factions within the party as well. We are seeing right now where there's been calls for the ANC treasurer in Mpumalanga to step aside as well. And we saw the letter was written by the ANC treasurer, Paul Mashatila. Do you still stand by your precedent, by your word, to say those charged, comrades charged in the ANC, must step aside, particularly what we're seeing in KZN as well, with the likes of Zandile Gumede coming up to say they will be contesting as well?
What is very clear is that the 54th National Conference gave us a mandate, and the Constitution was also amended to be very clear that those charged should step aside, and if they don't, they should be suspended. So that remains, and that's what we actually informed as the NEC employees at the provincial conference in Mpumalanga. We reiterated that, and a provincial conference or a regional conference are subject to national conference resolutions, NEC resolutions, and that's what we will continue with. The ANC is on a path of renewal, and our journey is only to advance, and it's a journey of no return.
Let me not keep you waiting. Thank you very much. I'll join you throughout the program. All right, that's Gwen Mahlangu, the SGO convener in the ANC, giving us detail about today's program, but particularly reiterating the stance behind the step-aside resolution, where we saw the ANC provincial treasurer in Mpumalanga, Mr. Msibi, there contesting again and successfully making it on the list. But she's reiterated that the step-aside resolution should stay.
Right. All right. Thank you so much. My colleague, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, out at Hosi Mampuru. They're speaking to ANC member and former health MEC in Gauteng, Gwen Ramokgopa.